Potatoes need a lot of really loose soil around them in order to expand. So the easiest way to do that is to dig a trench. The trench should be between 1.5 and 2 feet down. Even with the raised bed, we have some roots underneath. So about 1 to 1.5 is going to have to do. And we're going to use that as the base to put our cut up pieces of potato. And then because of these roots, I can't go 2 feet down all the way across the ditch. So I make these little sunken holes kind of around the roots to put that first piece in. So when you're putting in potatoes, you want to come and find a spot that's clear of any roots. Make sure that the best eye is pointing up, and really put it down in there. You then want to cover it with about 2 to 3 inches of dirt. Okay, and let that go. If you'll notice, there's still a large ditch, and that'll come in handy because as the potato comes up out of the soil, the green comes up, we're going to keep covering it with this mound of dirt that we have next. And we're just going to go right down the row and plant one about every foot. Here we have each one of our potatoes ready to go in. Remember that you don't need a whole seed potato. Most of them come pretty large, and you just need a piece that is big enough for a couple of eyes. And each one of these things usually yields about 5 potatoes, but I've heard it can yield up to 8 or 10. So hopefully now with this loosened soil, we'll be on the plus side of 5 this year. So it's been about 3 weeks now, and let's go and check on our potatoes in the trench that we dug. So here's our trench, and we have potatoes that are coming up with their green leaves out of the entire trench. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take part of this dirt here, and we're just going to cover it over another couple of inches until it rises again. So now that it's all covered over, you can see some of the taller ones have a little bit of green sticking out. We're just going to keep doing that until the soil is even with the top of our bed here, and then we'll let the potatoes grow up from there. Hi guys, so it is the end of July, and we are here today to harvest the potatoes that we had planted back in May. How do you know if a potato is ready for harvest? You know that a potato is ready for harvest when the foliage has fallen over and gone completely dead. You can wait for it to completely die, or as some of these down the line are different levels of dead, you'll see this is good enough where it's fallen over, the leaves are really brown on the edges, and you know that those are ready to go too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig up this whole row of potatoes here. So in order to dig up the potatoes, you want to try to do it on a dry day. That'll help to get the potatoes out as easily as possible. And there is a tool called a potato harvester, but since I don't have one of those, I'm just going to use a garden shovel. There's the roots. And if I just start digging, we have some wonderful purple potatoes. And it's like a scavenger hunt. You just have to keep digging, and you'll just keep finding potatoes. Sometimes you can be surprised how deep down that they go. Now, I said earlier the potato plants usually yield between 4 to 8 potatoes per plant. And a lot of that depends on the looseness of the soil, the rockiness, what it has to go around. So I'm up to 5 on this one, and we'll have to see. Little one. And I just want to keep digging because I feel like last year I thought I had them all, and then this year potato plants started popping up. So clearly I left a couple of spuds in the ground, and they had created new plants, but not exactly where I wanted them to be in my garden this year. All right, so I think that's it for this one. And we have 6 potato spuds, and I'm gonna do this right down the line. In order to store potatoes, you want to put them in a cool, dry place and let them cure for about a week in a dry, shady spot. Before you do that though, you want to make sure that you leave the dirt on the potato. It'll actually help it to cure. As well, you want to inspect your potatoes, and anything you may have hit with the shovel, like this one, I chopped right in half with the shovel. This is not going to cure properly. So you have 2 options. You can either A, save this as a seed potato to plant for next round or next season, or you can wash this off, and this is perfectly good for dinner tonight, but it won't store for long-term storage. The rest of these guys, this is only about 2 of the plants that I harvested, are going to stay here for about a week in the shade here, and then they'll be ready for storage in a cool spot like my basement for the winter. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning about how to grow your own potatoes. As you can see, it's relatively simple and you get a great yield. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below.